Okay, this video is going to go over the iReady lesson titled Problem Solving with Equations. So on your iReady screen, it looks like this. There's a soccer ball, and it's algebra and algebraic thinking, problem solving with equations. Okay, we're going to do it from the teacher screen. Actually, okay, problem solving with equations. This is what we want, and here we go.
Equality kickoff, round one. Score a goal by matching each equation with the property of equality needed to isolate the variable x.
Okay, so we have x plus 5 equals 6. We see addition, so right away we think our inverse operation is subtraction.
Score!
Next, we have x minus 5 equals 6. So right away we see the minus 5. We know the inverse operation of subtraction is addition.
Score!
We have 5x equals 15. We know the 5 and the x are attached by multiplication. So the inverse of multiplication is division.
Score!
And last but not least, we have x divided by 5 equals 15. We know that the x and the 5 are attached by division. We see the division line right there. So we want to think of the opposite of division or inverse of division, which would be multiplication.
Score!
Hazel, what's up? You look frustrated.
Well, my little sister's soccer team, the Roaring Hamsters, need help fundraising for new jerseys and equipment. They have their championship game coming up against the Thunder Kicks, and I thought I could handle it all, but my hands are full here.
Okay, maybe we can unfill them for you.
Don't worry, big guy. Let's break it all down and see how we can help you out.
Man, I've been doing so much. I don't even know where to start now.
Well, first, you gotta let people know about the game and start some fundraising. Posters, web posts.
Flyers!
Awesome. Flyers would be a great way to get the word out. We've already raised $555. How many could we get?
Let's get to work.
Each flyer costs 25 cents. Our total budget is $555. It'll cost $115 for other supplies. About how many flyers do you think we can buy?
Okay, so let's think. If we know that we have $555 total, let's see, can I write out here? No. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up Paint. So I'm going to split screen my two screens so I can have a little bit more room to write. That might help us out a little bit. Okay, here we go. So we want to take, can I pick a color? Okay. Our 555. And we want to subtract this cost over here, right? It's going to cost $115 for other supplies. So when we come over here and we subtract 115, that's going to give us $440 left over to work with. Now, what we know is that each flyer costs 25 cents. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of mental math. So let's say we take our 25 cents, that's 0.25, that's a point, and let's multiply it by 1,000 flyers, because that's the first number that they give us down here, 1,000 flyers. Okay, so 1,000. Now you can pull up the calculator, or use the calculator on your phone, whatever's easier. Or we can use mental math. We know that we have 3 zeros here, so we're going to move the decimal point 3 times to the right, which would give us $250. Ooh. Now, we also see the next number is 2,000. So let's do 0.25 or 25 cents. Paint might be a little harder to write with than the iReady program. Times 2,000. Okay. Oh, whoa. Hold on, guys. I zoomed in here. Okay, which is going to equal, and I'll just show you how we can go back and forth and pull up our different resources. So 0.25 times 2,000. Whoa, too many zeros. Oh my goodness. 0.25 times 2,000, and we get 500. So it's just double what we had over here. So let's just write that down on here, 500. So now we can come back over here and look at what we're talking about. All right, so what we see is that we have less than 1,000 flyers, greater than 1,000 flyers, 10,000, or in between 1,000 and 2,000 flyers, which is the choice that we want because we know that we have $440 to spend. So we're going to select that one.
Yeah.
And go on.
After we buy the other supplies, we should have about $450 left for flyers.
We have 440
1,000
exactly.
flyers will cost us $250.
That's the math
and
we did.
2,000 flyers will cost us $500.
The other math we
will
did.
be able to buy between 1,000 and 2,000 flyers.
Okay.
So how many should we order in total?
Let's break it down. How much money do we have to spend on flyers?
So now we already figured out the exact math, which was exactly $440.
You got it.
What's next? How can we find out how many flyers we can buy?
So if we know we have $440 and each flyer is 25 cents, we want to divide to solve for that number. So we're going to do 440 divided by 0.25, which tells us we can get 1,760 flyers. So first it's just asking us what operation are we going to do. We said we're going to divide. Done.
Right. We divide the amount of money we can spend on flyers by the cost of each flyer to see how many we can buy.
And now on the next slide, when we have to actually type in the number.
So how many flyers can we buy?
We just did that before. So if you remember, it was 1,760.
Right.
Great. We can buy exactly 1,760 flyers. That should be plenty.
Now, we did this word problem just by working backwards. But we now, in 7th grade, are very used to writing an equation and equally working backwards, but from the equation starting point. So we're going to do that now over here.
I'll go make the order.
What's up, Gio? Something wrong?
Nah, man. I just thought we had to use equations to solve these types of problems.
We do,
but I was
Gio.
gonna mention it. I guess I'm mistaken.
Oh, like
No.
algebra, solving with a variable.
You are very
Would we
right,
get a
my
different
friend.
answer if we did it another way? Should I stop her?
Nah, man. Actually, let's check it out to be safe.
Just to be safe.
First, we've got to identify what it is that we're trying to find out, the missing info. So, what is the unknown in this problem that we need to find?
Remember, this helps us define our variable. And when we want to do that, we always go immediately to the question to find out what is the unknown. How many flyers can we buy? So what we're trying to figure out is the number of flyers.
Great. We can represent the number of flyers with the variable f.
All right, now we have the variable. It's time to set up the equation.
So the algebraic method allows us to show the relationships between the variable f, the number of total flyers, and the different elements in the problem.
Yeah, the cost per flyer, the total budget, and the cost for other supplies. Set up the equation by dragging the highlighted elements into the correct location.
Okay, so right away we see our total budget is $555. We all know we identify the total first and put it on the right side of the equal sign. Next, we identify the number that goes with the variable. If we know that we're looking for the number of flyers, the number that's going to go with the variable F for flyers needs to be the cost of each flyer, which we see right here. Each flyer costs 25 cents. So we bring that down. Now it says that we have an additional $115 for other supplies, so we know that's going to be a one-time fee that we're going to add on to make our total cost. So there's our equation.
Looks right to me. The total cost of the flyers plus the cost of other supplies will equal the budget.
Okay, so now we're going to solve our equation.
Okay, bro. Now that we have the equation, I think we can solve it using properties of equality.
You know it.
We can.
The key to solving algebraic equations is to isolate the variable. What property can we apply to isolate the term 25/100 F?
Okay, so we want to get this piece alone. So we see that the only thing stopping it, we have enough room, we can write right on here. The only thing stopping it is this 115. So we're going to subtract 115 from both sides.
Great job. So we can use the subtraction property of equality to subtract 115 from each side of the equation.
Now we have 25/100 F equals 440.
This seems oddly familiar. When we subtracted 115 from the left side, we isolated 25/100 F. And look at the right side. We subtracted 115 from 555 to get 440. That's what we did numerically too.
That's pretty interesting, but we're not done yet. There is still a number or coefficient in front of the variable. Now that we have 25/100 F equals 440, how can we find the value of F? In other words, what property can we use to isolate the variable F?
Well, we know these are attached by multiplication, so the inverse of multiplication would be division.
The division property of equality is used to divide both sides of the equation by 25/100.
So that confirms it. We can make 1,760 flyers.
Yay,
We
did
did
it
it again,
right.
man. We divided the left side of the equation by 25/100 to isolate F. And to keep things balanced, we did the same to the right. 440 divided by 25/100 gives us 1,760 flyers. And that was our second step when we did it numerically too.
It was.
I knew algebra wouldn't let me down.
Never,
Back with
ever.
the flyers, but I have another dilemma.
Let's hear it. Maybe we can use some algebra to arrive at a solution.
Oh, we
Now you're
can.
speaking my language. What's
Mhm,
gotten
mine
into you
too.
two? Anyway, ran into PJ. She helped me sell $6,000 worth of tickets to the championship game and convinced me to let Bake Stars cater the home team event. I'll just pay with some of the ticket sales. But in the midst of all the craziness, I lost my list and IDK how many tickets we actually sold.
So you're saying that we don't know how many people are coming?
Right you are, but never fear. I think I have enough information to set up an algebraic equation to figure this out. At the end of it all, we made $4,000 profit for the Roaring Hamsters fundraiser.
Score!
So the profit is the amount we have after we subtract the amount we spent on catering?
You got it. Plus, I know that PJ calculated the total catering price by charging me $25 per person. Let's work it out.
Olive sold $6,000 worth of tickets to the game and spent $25 per person on catering. If she made a profit of $4,000, how many people are attending?
What is the unknown in the problem that we need to find?
Okay, let's go right into our question. It says, how many people are attending? So the unknown is the number of people.
Good job. We will use the variable P to represent the number of people.
Set up the equation by dragging the highlighted elements into the correct location.
Okay, now the key thing to think here, it says the profit was the end result. So the profit is going to be our total. So right here it says that she made a profit of $4,000. It says in order to calculate the profit, we take the total amount from the ticket sales and subtract the cost of catering. So first we see here, we have $6,000 worth of ticket sales. So that's going to be our first number. And we're subtracting the cost of catering, which is the cost of the food, which is $25 per person. And we know P represents the number of people because that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, the amount of money we made minus the cost of the food will give us our profit. In order to find the cost of food, we have to multiply the number of people attending, P, by the cost per person, $25.
Can make this a little bigger.
That's one way to look at it, but you could also think of it this way. The amount of money you make plus the amount of money you spent will equal the total amount of money from ticket sales.
Yeah, or you subtract your profit from the ticket sales to see how much you spent on food.
So all they're doing
Interesting.
is rearranging
so there's
the
more than
pieces.
one equation you can use.
There's more than one equation. All they did was rearrange the pieces, but we're going to use our original one.
Let's go ahead and just use the first equation to find out how many people bought tickets. Solve the equation 6,000 minus 25p equals 4,000.
Okay, so I'm going to come over here just so that I have a little bit more room. So 6,000 minus 25p equals 4,000. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is draw our scale line right here by my equal sign, and I want to try and identify my variable. So I'm going to put a little box around it. So there's my highlight, okay? Now, first things first, we're going to move that 6,000 over. It's a positive 6,000, so we have to subtract it from both sides. So 4,000 minus 6,000. It's going to give us a negative number. Remember, you can always use your calculator if you need it. I'm going to bring down everything that I didn't use yet. So negative 25p is equal to negative 2,000. P is still not alone yet. The negative 25 and p are attached by multiplication. I want to do the inverse operation. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 25. These will reduce to 1, and p will be alone. And over here, I want to divide by negative 25. I'm going to pull up my little calculator. I'm going to do 2,000 divided by 25. And I see that that gives me p equal to 80. So I'm going to type in here 80 and check.
Right on. After subtracting 6,000 from both sides of the equation, you didn't forget to keep the minus sign in front of 25p.
Next.
I'm glad we figured this out. I should have known that the answer was around 80 because if we made $6,000 on ticket sales and $4,000 profit, then the total food cost would have been $2,000. And since it costs $25 per person for food, 3,000 divided by 25 equals 80.
That's numerical, and a good way to check the reasonableness of our dilemma.
Hello? Yes. Oh, yeah, Well, okay. That's awesome. We're on our way. That was Vector. He heard about the event from Sweet Tea, who heard about it from PJ, who heard about it from Olive. I guess word travels faster on here. Anyways, he said the Point Grocery Store would like to donate some money to us, too. Let's get out of here. Thanks, Vector. See you later. Vec used some kind of formula to figure out how much he would donate. He gave us $2,225. It was based on his sales from yesterday.
I always wondered how much money people spend on groceries every day. Let's figure it out.
Vector donated 1/5 of yesterday's sales plus an additional $125. He gave Azul $2,225 total. How much money did the store make in sales yesterday?
What is the unknown in this situation?
Okay, here we go. Right to the question. How much money did the store make in sales yesterday? So, what is the unknown? Yesterday's sales.
Yeah, let's use S as our variable since we are looking for the sale amount.
Set up the equation by dragging the highlighted elements into the correct location.
Okay, first things first, we're going to take the total and put it on this side of the equal sign. Next, we know that he donated 1/5 of yesterday's sales. Of is that keyword that we're multiplying, so we're taking 1/5 of the sales. The sales are being represented by S, so it's going to be 1/5 times S, and an additional $125. So that's our one-time add-on, and there's our equation.
Since only a part of the sales will be donated, we multiply 1/5 of the amount of sales made yesterday and add that to the additional $125 to get the total of $2,225.
Before we get started, let's rewrite the first term. Multiplying the sales by 1/5 is the same as dividing by 5. Solve the equation S divided by 5 plus 125 equals 2,225.
Okay, so we have S over 5 plus 125 equals 2,225. Right away, draw our scale line. I'm going to just quickly highlight our variable that we're trying to isolate. Okay, in order to get the S alone, we first have to move the 125. It's a positive 125, so we have to do the inverse operation, which is subtraction. So we're going to subtract 125 from both sides. When we do this, these will cancel out, additive inverses, and we get S over 5 equal to 2,100. Now, that S is still not alone. It has a divided by 5 attached to it. So in order to get it alone, we have to do the inverse of division, which would be multiplication. So we're going to divide by 5. Oh, multiply by 5, excuse me. Multiply by 5 and come over here. Multiply by 5. Okay, now we're going to get our grand total for S, which we can pull up our calculator to double check that our math is right. 2,100 times 5 should give us 10,500. Excellent. And we're going to type that right in here. Check it.
That's it.
Woo!
Just subtract 125 from both sides of the equation to see that S divided by 5 equals 2,100.
That's what we did
Then,
here.
multiply both sides of the equation by 5 to isolate S. Vector sold $10,500 worth of groceries yesterday.
Perfect. And that's what we got over here.
Enter now. Beat Dreams Dance-a-thon. Cash for dance moves. The longer you last, the bigger the cash. 8 p.m. tonight.
Go, Geo.
Nice
Go,
moves,
Geo.
guy.
Your honesty is nurturing. Well, my dad's pressuring me to enter this dance-off to raise money for the Roaring Hamsters campaign.
That's an awesome idea. I'll donate 10 buckaroos just to see you dance.
10
Not you
buckaroos.
too. My dad's willing to double the amount of
Holy
money I
moly.
raised for the dance-a-thon.
Perfect. We still need $425 for the new jerseys. You have to enter.
Yeah, I know. It's for a good cause.
It's for the kids, bro.
For the kids.
And my kid's sister. The goal is to raise $420. Olive will give $10 on top of what Gio raises at the dance-a-thon. His dad will double the final amount. How much money does Gio need to raise to meet this goal? What are we trying to find out?
Okay, let's go identify the question. How much money does Gio need to raise to meet this goal? So, right here, the amount of money Gio needs to raise is our answer.
We can use the letter R as our variable, since it represents the amount of money Gio needs to raise.
Which expression represents the amount Gio will have after Olive makes her contribution?
Okay, right here it says Olive will give $10 on top of what Gio raises. So we're going to take R, which is what Gio is raising, and now an additional $10 from Olive. So it's going to be R plus 10.
Yeah, I'll have R, whatever I raised, plus the $10 Olive is going to give me.
Those 10 buckaroos.
Which expression represents the amount of money Gio will have after his dad makes his contribution?
So now we're working with R plus 10. So whatever Gio makes plus Olive's $10. Now the dad's going to double that whole amount. So we're going to multiply the R plus 10 times 2.
Right. Gio's dad is going to double the final amount, including what I give him.
So we can set the amount of money Gio's dad is going to give us equal to our goal of $420.
Now we have an equation to solve.
Yay.
Let's see how much I need to raise by isolating the variable R. Solve the equation 2 times the quantity R plus 10 equals 420.
Okay, here we go. So here we have a very beautiful distributive property problem. All right, so we're going to draw our line. First, we are going to distribute that 2 into our parentheses. So 2 times R is going to give us 2R. Now, 2 times positive 10 is going to give us plus 20. And we're going to bring down everything else that we see, so equals 420. Now our variable R is what we're trying to isolate. So let's pick another color. R is what we would like to get alone. Here's our R. So we have to move all that other stuff away from the R. So we're going to start by moving the 20. We see it's a plus 20. Our inverse of addition is going to be subtraction. So we're going to subtract 20 from both sides. When we do this, our 20s here will cancel out. We'll be left with 2R equals 400. Okay, R is still not alone yet, and we want to get it alone. We know that these are attached by multiplication. The inverse of multiplication is division, so we're going to divide by 2 and divide by 2 to get R equal to 200. Type it in and let's check.
200. That's what I got too.
Good job.
I used the distributive property to get 2R plus 20
There are the
equal to
arrows.
420.
That's
Then
what
I
we did.
subtracted 20 from both sides of the equation and divided both sides by 2 to isolate the R. You just need to raise $200 and Olive and your dad can do the rest.
Nice.
I'm on it.
Game time! We did it, guys!
Yeah, thanks. The team is so excited. We knew algebra would be so useful.
I'd
knew?
rather do algebra than have to dance in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah, I guess I should have warned you. We couldn't find a halftime show and I sort of volunteered you.
You did what?
Okay, let's take our quiz.
Find the value of D.
Okay, so I'm going to write right on here. We have 2D minus 5 equals 17. You would think I would be getting better at writing on this screen. Okay, draw our scale line. We're going to add 5 to both sides. 17 plus 5 gives us 22. So when we cancel out these 5s over here, we bring this down and we get 2d equals 22. And now we divide both sides by 2. Whoa, that was a big line. This will reduce to 1 and we'll get d equals 11. So I want to turn this off. Type in here 11. Yay.
Find the value of g.
Okay, negative 6g plus 36 equals 12. Okay, draw our scale line. We see my plus 36 inverse is going to be to subtract 36. Subtract 36. If you take a minute and bring down negative 6g equals 12 minus 36. Okay, we know the larger number is negative. Now we just subtract. 36 minus 12 gives us 24. We're going to divide both sides by negative 6. No, don't zoom in. Divide by negative 6. And we're going to get g is equal to positive 4. We know that negative 24 divided by negative 6, a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 24 divided by 6 is 4. Oops, I'm going to scroll over to my next button.
Find the value of s.
Okay, so let's rewrite this the way iReady taught us to. So we're going to pull s up here. So we're going to write this as s over 3 plus 14 equals 26. Draw our line to divide the equation into two pieces. We have a plus 14, the inverse of addition, subtraction. So we're going to subtract 14 from both sides. Okay, bring down what we haven't used yet. S divided by 3 equal to 6 minus 4 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1, so we get 12. Now we know this is division over here, so we're going to multiply to undo that. So times 3 to this side, times 3 to this side, and 12 times 3 is 36.
Find the value of m.
Okay, distributive property. Here we go. So we're going to distribute that 4 into our parentheses. So 4 times m will give us 4m. 4 times negative 2 will give us negative 8. Okay, bring down equals 24. We want to add 8 to both sides. bring down what we didn't use. 4m, all right, buddy, equals, and now we know 24 plus 8 is going to be 32. So we're going to write 30, nice little fancy 3 for us, 2. Divide both sides by 4. I did not mean to make my line so big. Divide by 4, and we're going to get m equals 8. Oof. All right. Yay,
Azul bought 10 reams of paper at the store for a total of $84. The tax on the purchase was $4. What was the cost of each ream of paper? Which equation could be used to represent this situation?
Total of $84. So we know it has to be equal to 84. So this one is no good. All right, now we know that the tax on the purchase was $4. We know from our percents chapter, tax is an addition to any problem. So we're looking for plus 4. All right, so right away that makes these two silly answers, and this is going to be our answer. But we also know that 10 reams of paper, we don't know the cost of the ream of paper, so that's R. So 10 times R is going to equal that, making this the correct equation.
Luna had $50 when she got to the carnival. After riding 12 rides, she had $26 left. What was the price of each ride? Which equation could be used to represent this situation?
Okay, $26 is our total because that's what's left at the very end. So this is the silly answer right here, equal to 50. Do not get tricked. Now, 50 is her starting amount. Then she rides 12 rides. We don't know the cost of one ride. So the cost of one ride is going to be equal to P. So that makes this number have to be multiplied by our variable P. So we're looking for a 12P. We have 12P here, 12P here, and 12P here. Now, we know she starts with $50 and then she rides 12P rides. So we're taking that away. So that's going to be subtraction. So we start with 50, we take 12P away, and we're left with 26.
At the amusement park, each student is given $16 for food. This covers the cost of 2 meals plus $4 for snacks. How much money does the school expect each student to spend per meal? Which equation could be used to represent this situation?
Okay, we see $16 as our total. So that makes this choice a silly choice. Cross it out. Now, the cost of 2 meals plus $4 for snacks. So right away we see that we're adding 4. So this choice doesn't work, and this choice doesn't work. But let's go in. We also know 2 meals, we don't know how much to spend per meal. Remember, per and of are our keywords that help us know which number goes with which variable. Okay, so right here we have 2 meals times the cost of that meal plus our $4 for snacks is equal to our total. Next question.
Mr. Carter and Miss Torres need 2 buses to drive their classes to the amusement park. Each class needs money to rent a bus and $20 to tip the driver. The 2 classes together raise $240. How much money can they spend on each bus rental? Which equation could be used to represent this situation?
Okay, so we know that our total is $240. So unfortunately, we can't cross any of these off as silly answers. We also know that there's 2 buses that we need, which means there's 2 bus drivers that we have to tip. So that means we need the tip money and the bus fare money. So how much money can they spend on each bus rental? So B is going to represent the cost of the bus rental. So we need B plus the $20 tip. So B plus 20 is definitely what we need. But we need that 2 times because we need 2 buses. So that's going to be right here, our nice little distributive property. 2 buses times 2 $20 tips. And we're done. Good job, guys.